Hey everyone, it's Kathy Zilski back with another installment of Easy with me, CZ. Today I'm going to show you how I keep my Copic coloring of cute images simple, and I hope to inspire you to do the same. Let's take a look at the products I'm using today. I have the Shiitake stamp set that I designed for Simon Says Stamp, and I want to make a little spray of mushrooms. Can you make a spray of mushrooms? Maybe. I'm inking up with the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black because I'm going to color these with Copic markers, but I promise you it's going to be the simplest coloring. Well, it's not the simplest. The simplest would be to not color at all, but stay with me here. I'm going to make lots of mushrooms. Now, here was the plan. Just two Copic colors for the stems. Now, you could go with grays, you could do any colors you like, but the way I'm doing this today is just starting with the light color and then coming in with a little bit darker of a color and blending it out a tiny bit to the best of my ability. Now, that first mushroom, I ended up going way out of the lines, so I don't use that one, but I'm going to finish all the stems off camera, and then we will have these lovely mushrooms ready to color for the caps. I'm going to cut them all out before I proceed. The reason, I just wanted to be able to arrange them how I envisioned them for the front of my card, and I just stuck one down to a flipped upside down Post-it note to hold it in place. And all I'm going to do for the coloring is the lightest color is going to fill the entire mushroom cap. Then I'll come in with a darker color and just dot into the little details on the mushroom for a little something something. So basic. One thing I like to say when I'm Copic coloring with any images is to try to not write a creative check that my body is not ready to cash. And I just like the look of something colored in simply. So here's my purple mushroom, and I'm going over it a couple times just to get it nice and saturated, and then coming in with that darker color to dot into the detail. I also have on my Copic markers, on a few of them, I have swapped out the chisel nib for extra fine nibs that you can replace. And I like those nibs because I never use the chisel nibs, and it also makes it easier when you're coloring tiny images. For the two smaller mushrooms, I am doing a little bit more blending just because they don't have any details stamped onto them. However, the stamp set does have little detail stamps that you can also add, but they're so small you would not color them in. So those are the mushrooms for my card. Cute, huh? All right, for the greeting, I'm going to use Let That Shiitake Go. I've got some Simon Says Stamp So Very black cardstock, and we're going to just stamp this and emboss it with white powder. And I think this will look very pretty. I'm sprinkling on some Brutus Monroe alabaster. Now, I did powder up my cardstock, but I tell you, black cardstock can really grab powder, so I'm going to take a little brush and just go in and pick out a few of the specks of embossing powder that I don't want. And I love these little angled shader brushes for doing that. Looks pretty good. And now we'll heat up the heat tool and melt the powder. I love that font. I think it's really fun and friendly. Once it's completely cool, I'll take my little cloth and just buff off the anti-static powder that sometimes makes your dark cardstock look chalky, and I'll cut out the greeting with the coordinating die. I cut a little panel to be 3.5 by 4 3/4, popped that up onto a white note card, and here I've got a little bit of liquid glue on my foam squares just for a little bit of wiggle room. I like to know that I can shift it just like I'm doing here until it's straight. I'm just going to double check that visually, and yeah, that looks good. The glue helps with that. Now I've got different depths of foam squares on all the mushrooms. So the center mushroom is the same depth as the greeting. I've got thin foam squares on the smaller mushrooms because I want them to tuck in and under. Just like that. And I'm not putting glue on these because I felt like these are pretty easy to pop in. So we are going in that same order. And I've got the little guys, and they are just going to go right onto the note card. So there's 3 levels of dimension on all of the elements. And it works in a modified rainbow order. So I think just cutting them apart and knowing what was what really did help me to color simply. But now I'm going to stamp on the inside of the card, "You Will Rise Above." And sometimes instead of using my MISTI, I just hold everything open with a magnet that sticks to my surface here and free range stamp the greeting right smack dab in the middle. "You will rise above." So a nice, cheeky encouragement card ready to send. I love how this turned out. Be sure to check out the Simon Says Stamp blog to see more photos and a complete supply list for this card project today. And I will see you back here next month with another installment of Easy with me, CZ.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.